NFC. This morning, Logic is going to take us to the AFC, which the Chiefs have basically owned for the last 2 seasons. But a new crop of young quarterbacks hot on Mahomes' heels. Nick, take us through your AFC playoff picks for this season.
Oh, I would be delighted to, Jenna. There it is. Oh, wow. Those are big logos. The Bills repeat in the East. The Titans repeat in the South. The Browns win the North for the first time in my lifetime. The Browns win the North. The Chiefs, of course, win the West. In the wild card, Ravens do make the playoffs, but their stranglehold on the division ends. The Chargers, that Justin Herbert hype, I believe in it. I think Justin Herbert's sensational. They also won't lose nearly as many close games as they lost last year, where they were just terrible at the end of halves, end of games. And then, you guys know from the preseason pyramid or tiers, Dolphins, Patriots, Patriots, Dolphins, couldn't decide. Ultimately, I think the Dolphins will have the better quarterback this year. I think they'll have the better defense this year, and they certainly have the better skill position guys. So, and they have a good coach. He's not Belichick, but Flores is quite good. So the Dolphins are my final AFC playoff team. So that means out from last year, new teams are Chargers, Dolphins. Out from last year are the Colts and the Steelers. As far as my predictions go, Broussard in the NFC, you cheated off my paper. In the AFC, I'm very curious to see who you have. Let's see it.
You did pretty well on the division winners, Nick. Most of them, they were pretty simple outside of the North.
Yeah, chalk.
But I'm with you. I went with the Browns over the Ravens. Where you went haywire was in your wild cards. I'm with you on the Ravens, but the Chargers, and I do like Herbert, but no, it's going to be the Colts. Now, I'm banking on 2 things with the Colts. Carson Wentz staying healthy. Okay, I get it. That's an if. And Carson Wentz bouncing back and having a big season. So they got a great offensive line. They got a strong running game. I love Jonathan Taylor. They got receivers. The defense is solid. Like, Indianapolis is legit. They did well with an old Phillip Rivers. I think Carson Wentz resurrects his career. And then, Wilds, you will love this.
Yeah, buddy.
The New England Patriots, I have them returning to the playoffs. Now, I've been rough on Belichick because he is, as great as he has not been good without a quarterback named Tom Brady. He's made the playoffs once in 8 tries without Tom Brady as his quarterback. But I am banking, Wilds, that this becomes playoff appearance number 2 for Bill Belichick without Tom Brady at quarterback.
Okay, well, thank you, Broussard. Bill Belichick's 2 Super Bowl rings with the Giants would beg to differ because Tom Brady wasn't on that team. But still, you're on the Patriots bandwagon. We'll take you
out. As a defensive coordinator, you mean? As a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, that rings still shine, buddy. They're still there in the safety deposit box. All right, I want to tell Nick why I think the Patriots will take the Dolphins spot. So first of all, Patriots weren't good last year. They were 7-9. We had the most opt-outs. We had wide receivers who couldn't catch the ball. We had a quarterback who couldn't throw the ball. And we were only a fumble against Buffalo and a goal line stand away in Seattle from being 9-7. Now we are totally reloaded with a better quarterback, $150 million in free agents, and everybody back from the COVID list. So we got much better. The Dolphins, however, and I think this is probably an underreported story, we have seen how confidence affects even the greatest quarterbacks. We saw Aaron Rodgers play well, but the Jordan Love thing, the confidence thing bothered him, and he's as good as they get. We saw Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts, who's coming up on the show later on, good tease, Wilds, his play really went down. The Tua thing in Miami, as much as I root for him, I like the guy. I like Alabama quarterbacks now. I like Brian Flores. I think this Tua thing, you would have a hard time convincing me that they're doing all they can to support Tua. They started him, and then they would pull him out of games, and it's like, all right, you're our quarterback now. By the way, let's kick the tires on Deshaun Watson. So if I'm Tua, and I was a high draft pick, and early on there was talks about, hey, should we unretire Dan Marino's number and give it to Tua? All of a sudden has been pulled out of games for Fitzmagic, and now getting they're flirting with Deshaun Watson. I think Tua's confidence, I wouldn't be surprised if Tua had an underperforming year because the Dolphins have sort of like hurt his confidence. And guess what?
Jalen's on right now. We can talk to him.
Great.
Different
I'll ask him.
Quarterback.
We will.
Yes,
Let's take a turn. Talk some Eagles. A fresh start in Philly this season. You have first-year head coach Nick Sirianni. You got second-year quarterback Jalen Hurts. Hurts ready to make a splash in his first full season as the starter. He's joining us this morning. We got a lot to talk to him about, thanks to his partners at FedEx. Jalen, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Good morning. Good morning. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Good. So let's start here. You're now a Philly guy. You got a year under your belt. I lived a couple years in Philly. You know this. Philadelphia, tough town to play in. It was a tough town to work in. Amazing fans, but man, they expect a lot out of you. What do you take from what you learned last year into your second year in Philly, now as the guy, kind of a different role with higher expectations?
Yes, ma'am. I think my mentality, everything that how I've always gone about my business, it's never changed regardless of the circumstance. I know this is it's a great city. I'm excited to play for the fans, excited to have fans in the stadium. And I think we're all excited here to, put a show on. We work really hard, and we're excited to go out there and play.
All right, Jalen, first of all, obviously I have to start here. It's a pleasure to have a fellow Clutch client on the show. So welcome to the family. It's good to see you, my friend. Second of all, I'm curious here what your reaction in the moment, not right now that you've gotten to know him, but in the moment you got the Twitter alert or the text from someone at the team that the team was trading for Gardner. In that moment, what your reaction was?
I had talked to I talked to the people I need to talk to about it. We didn't want to make it bigger than what it was. He's a great addition to the team, and he makes the room better.
Well, so I'm just, because your story is obviously such an interesting one. You're a national champion, and then you end up leaving Alabama. You handle that with the grace that I don't know if there's 5 20-year-olds in the country that could have done that. The way you handled it so well, being a great teammate, then you go do great at Oklahoma. You get to Philly, and you end up taking over for Carson Wentz, and I think the vast majority of people said, okay, this is Philadelphia saying, this is Jalen Hurts' team. But then it seemed like they were waiting to officially name you the starter, and they trade for Gardner. Do you feel like this is your team definitively, or do you feel like that's still somehow up in the air?
I definitely do. I mean, it's crazy because, I've been on a few different teams. I've been able to be a part of a couple of different programs in Alabama and Oklahoma. And, when I went to Oklahoma, I worked really hard to build relationships and connect with my teammates, and to vote me captain in like a short span of time. Yeah. And yesterday I was actually voted captain amongst the Eagles. So to be given an opportunity to lead this team and represent this team as a captain, it means the world to me. And I want to go out there and play at a high level for everybody in this facility.
Jalen, thanks for joining us. People view you as a running quarterback. A two-part question. What'd you work on in the offseason to improve as a passer? And what would your message be, or what would you say to those who want to pigeonhole you into that type of just a running quarterback?
Yes, sir. I never let anyone put me in a box, and I never put a ceiling on my game and what I can do. So obviously put a lot of hard work in this offseason, and spent a lot of time with Coach upstairs, getting the system down and picking his brain and get on the same page as him. So we just want to go out there, execute whatever it is, execute at a high level.
All right, Jalen, I want to mention this year here on behalf of the FedEx Air and Ground NFL Awards. You just launched a new video to kick off this season's awards that people can check out at NFL.com/FedEx. Tell us a little bit about your partnership with FedEx now.
Yes, it's a great deal. FedEx has been doing this for the last 19 years, giving out the award for the best performer through the air and through the ground, on the ground. So I'm thankful to be a part of it, kind of representing the new age quarterback that can, do it through the air and with their legs. So it's fun. They're also doing great things with HBCUs and donate to them weekly, $4,000 weekly. So that's a great thing too, a service. It's a great service.
Jalen, it's great work. It's great what you're doing. We wish you all the best of luck this season. Have fun in Philly. I love it. I love the city. You're going to be great. We really appreciate your time this morning. Jalen Hurts. Good. Jalen and the Eagles will open the season Sunday on Fox, taking on Matt Ryan and the Falcons. That'll be a fun one to watch, just part of our great Week 1 slate. Good luck again, Jalen. Thanks for joining us. All right, we're going to take a turn. Talk some other quarterbacks now. Our guy Chris Broussard has a list that he cooked up. Look at that. Broussard with the rare list this morning. Sit back, Nick. Is Aaron Rodgers the quarterback with the most approved this season? Broussard will tell you. Next, first things first.